The Dershow.
If the 65 Project persists in trying to bring these charges, we'll bring charges against them and their lawyers as well, because they are subverting justice. They are engaging in rampant McCarthyism in an effort to deter lawyers from doing what lawyers are supposed to do, challenge injustice. That's the American way. That was done since John Adams defended those accused of the Boston Massacre. If the Project 65 had been around then, boy, they would have come after John Adams with a vengeance. He would have been disbarred. Abraham Lincoln probably would have been disbarred. Thurgood Marshall certainly would have been disbarred. After all, he defended communists and he defended murderers and rapists and others. So Project 65 is an exercise in hypocrisy, in McCarthyism, in unethical conduct, in efforts to undo our legal system. And I would hope that all decent lawyers would unite against the 65 Project, but they're not. The New York Times praises them, and lawyers I know praise them. Oh, it's about time these lawyers got their comeuppance for having the chutzpah to go and defend Donald Trump, who is a risk to democracy. You know, that's what they said about communists. And they were right about communists, and they were right about fascists. But that doesn't deny you the right to have a defense. And particularly when it's about an election, you have the right to challenge elections, and you have the right to do it if you do it ethically and you do it properly, you do it within the law. And the idea that there is a group out there whose overt policy is to deter lawyers and to prevent lawyers and to put ads in papers and to urge law firms to fire their lawyers. That's what McCarthy did. And he did it with success. A lot of lawyers got fired. I knew some of them. And that's what is going on now today. So all decent lawyers and all decent people should unite against the 65 Project and respond to any ads that appear in newspapers by counter ads saying, no, you should be defending people in legitimate challenges. Obviously, you shouldn't engage in any unethical conduct or do anything that's deemed to be improper under the law. But that's not what deterrence deters. Deterrence paints with a broad brush. It chills the exercise of legitimate Sixth Amendment rights. And I have to tell you, I know lawyers who have been chilled by the 65 Project. I know lawyers who've said, I really wanted to defend Trump. He was right. He had a good point after all. Look at what happened in New York, where he was convicted of a non-crime, or he was fined, almost $500 million for something that caused no damage. I was really anxious to try to get in there and defend the Constitution, but I can't afford it. I can't afford $100,000 in legal fees, and I can't afford the possible risk to my reputation if I get disciplined or disbarred. Well, fortunately, I can't afford it. Number one, with help from friends. And number two, I'm too old to be scared and to be frightened or to be deterred. I will not be deterred by the 65 Project. I hope the 65 Project will be deterred by threats by decent people to challenge them and perhaps bring bar proceedings against them for undercutting the rule of law and undermining democracy. I don't think bar proceedings should be brought against anybody for exercising constitutional rights. But if anybody deserves to be regarded as pariahs by the bar, it's the 65 Project. Shame on them. Shame on all of them. And some of them are lawyers that I used to admire, but they've become so affected by Trump derangement syndrome that they're prepared to throw out the Sixth Amendment, throw out the Constitution, throw out the First Amendment in the interest of get Trump, get Trump. That's my other book, Get Trump, get Israel, get Trump. This get mentality is undermining the rule of law to such a great extent. If you try to get somebody, whether it be a country or a person, you're going to not be obeying the law. And that's the problem. And that's why I am so strongly opposed to the 65 Project, why I will fight them to the end and make sure that whoever is subject to discipline or approach by the 65 Project, come to me, I will help you. because we're not going to let them get away with that McCarthyism.